Hey guys, it's Alex, and today we're going to talk about the Ghost Cam Tune. Now, this is a subject that a lot of people find sore, especially tuners. There's actually one tuner that thinks the Ghost Cam Tune is gay and dumb and stupid, and it's better off for you to get real cams. Which the reasoning behind that is a little silly and misleading. Now, let's talk about the overlap chop. So on a Coyote car, you can phase the cams, phase them in such a way that it causes a overlap idle chop. Now, a lot of people think it's gay and dumb and ricer. Do I think it's ricer? No more ricer than putting a set of weld wheels on your car with street tires. You're just going for a look at that point. It's chopped cams, you just want a sound, so you want it to chop at idle. Big fucking deal. If that's what you want, good for you. For you to say it's gay, then it's just as gay to put skinnies in the front when you never race the car. It's the same shit, okay? So let's talk about how you can make the car chop at idle. You can phase the cams in such a way that when it comes down to idle, it parks the cams at a certain spot. So if you park the cams like 11 to 14 at 0, 0, the thing's like la 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 la, it idles like a fucking Lexus. You wouldn't even know any different. Now, let's say theoretically you were to take the phasers off. You take the phasers off and you lock the cams in a certain position. I'm not gonna tell you the angles, but let's say you lock the cams in a certain position, taking the phasing away. The stock cams are pretty heavy. They will chop, and they will chop hard. Bah, bah, bah. I mean, just bah, 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 all that shit. But then you take the coolness out of it because you're eliminating TiVCT. So a lot of people that think cam lobed idle tune is gay, they say, well, I'm gonna buy real cams and get the performance aspect along with the chop. And then they put the cams in, and then they're sadly disappointed that they do not chop. I have brought the subject up on my when YOLO talks shit, but I'm trying to come at you in a real way. Comp cams and any other cam that still retains a lot of the VCT function are not going to chop that heavy. They are not going to chop as much as a cam lobed idle tune, unless you do the same thing you do to the aftermarket cams that you do to the stock cams, aka phase them so that they're locked in a certain position. So people say, oh, those are stupid, get real cams. Look, Coyote cars and Camaro owners, 9 times out of 10 after they install the cam, they just take idle videos. The thing's sitting in the parking lot, chopping away, sounding real good. And they're not telling you, oh, by the way, it made 40 more horse. No, they sit there because they want it to sound rowdy as fuck at the stoplight. So a couple of people think, well, that's ricer, the Ghost Cam is ricer, I'd rather get real cams for the chop and the performance. No, if you lock stock cams, they'll chop. If you lock aftermarket cams, they'll chop. If you don't lock them and retain the VCT, they more than likely won't chop as hard as they would as if they were locked in a certain cam angle. That's pretty much it. The cool thing that tuners like about it is the technology. That's it. That you can sit there, chop, and the moment you take off at a light, the chopping goes away and it becomes a smooth running car. And then when you clutch in and come to a light and stop, boom, it goes back to that overlap chop and starts chopping away. That's just cool technology that Ford brought on their ProCal device. They used to have a ProCal, big, ugly blue piece of shit that you would put in and then had a lobe tune in it. The aftermarket just made the lobe tune a little more aggressive. Call it gay all you want, but you guys know, hey, let's say for instance you own an LS3 Camaro, right? And you put a badass set of Magnaflows, off-road exhaust, and with a flick of a button, you can make it chop. Because you're not gonna race it, you're just a show car guy, you're just kind of showing out, stunting. And if with a flick of a button, boop, it goes into that heavy ass BTR style, wah, 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 fuck yes, you'll do it. And if you're saying no, man, bullshit, man, yo, that guy's full of shit, I'll totally buy a $500 cam and pay someone another $500-600 to put it in just to get the chop. You're fooling yourself, you're lying to yourself, stop playing yourself, you're full of shit. Now the hate comes from the lack of technology, or the hate on the Ford side comes from tuners that can't do it properly. Can I do it? Yeah. Will I do it to a customer's car? Fuck no. Because I don't want to have to deal with him complaining about how it doesn't drive like stock. It doesn't drive exactly like stock. You want a Mustang to drive like stock? Put the stock cold air, take all the mods off, and shove Ford's tune in it. That's the only way that Mustang will ever drive stock again. I can get it bringing it to as close as stock as possible, but it'll never ever drive just like stock. That's just not gonna happen, especially when it comes to something that has the cam loop idle tune. AED does it, Lund Racing does it, a bunch of other shops do it. I don't care to do it, VMP doesn't do it. It's just not worth it to us, you know? Lund Racing doesn't even charge for it. They just say, hey, it's free, and it's all good. And people are like, well, I wish it drove better. Well, guess what? It's free. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, drive it, and roll the fuck out, because the technology is cool. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna sit there in the parking lot chopping away anyway. You're not really gonna drive it. And if you're driving on a cam loop idle tune all the time, something's wrong with you, because it's just not gonna drive exactly like stock, and you might complain about it, but it's free, you're not getting charged. Other people charge for it, and those tend to drive a little better, but there's many ways of skinning a cat. There's 2 or 3 different ways of phasing the cams to mimic an overlap chop at idle. So hopefully that makes some sense to you guys. The cam loop idle tune is only gay to the people that 1, can't do it, 2, don't understand the technology behind it, and 3, want performance and chop, but don't understand that you have to lock the cams to make them chop like they would like Camaros, LS3s, and have a real heavy overlap. Hopefully you guys got a little better understanding. If not, maybe I shed some light to the guys who didn't know. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll talk to you later.